hear that.
We're a bird up. Dun, 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 dun. Have you seen any Eric Andre silly skits? Have you seen Bird
I'm
Up?
sure I have.
Welcome to the VidGames Podcast. We're talking about something that is very popular at the moment. Why don't you explain?
Yes. Okay.
She's very excited.
Today we're talking about One Piece live action, also known as OPLA.
OPLA! Like the little fish kid from SpongeBob.
Yes. Hoopla.
Okay, so... Boy, how did you get into One Piece?
Okay, so... I watched a little bit of One Piece back in the 4Kids days, and everyone would go like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." No, don't be sorry. Oh my god, I love 4Kids One Piece. It's so funny.
I just finished watching a 2-hour, 40-minute comp someone did of all the changes that 4Kids made and censors.
Yeah, it's just, it's bizarre. Like, oh my god. Some of those edits and censors that 4Kids did, back in the day, it's just, everyone talks about how horrible they are or whatever, but I don't know, man. They had some really good voice actors, and also, you know what? You probably wouldn't know what Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh were if it weren't for them, so, there we go.
I mean, they did obviously popularize Yu-Gi-Oh! And we talked a lot about both of those in our Kids WB. Plus,
yes.
You did mention One Piece. You did mention that a little bit.
Yes, I did. But anyway, I was familiar with One Piece back in those days, but I wasn't super into it. I just knew some of the characters. My friend Ren, aka D-chan, is a One Piece fanatic, always has been. And so they were super into it, even back then. That's how I kind of got all the knowledge. And so when they got back into their One Piece phase, yeah, when, like, and this is many years later, it's not really, it wasn't really that long ago. This was like, God, when was this? I don't want to say, it wasn't 2019, it was later than that, but it wasn't that many years ago. It was only a few years ago. And, so when they started to get back into it, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I had my fan characters for it and stuff. I was like, yeah, I should revamp those characters. And then there's many other new characters that I haven't seen yet, and all that stuff since the official English dub, the funny dub took over. The funny. I guess it's not Funimation anymore, it's Crunchyroll. But whatever, I'm gonna call it Funimation anyway. So there was all that stuff that I hadn't been
the Crunchy dub
familiarized with yet. And remember one day, what was it like? It was around my birthday. I think I was like having a little party here, and
little shindig.
a party with me and 2 people. So just like
I've been there.
Just like I like it. That's perfect.
Party of 3.
And so D-chan was there, and then my friend Hari, and so I started looking up the characters for One Piece, and I was like, okay, all right, let me just look up the character list. Let me look up the voice actor list, because I want to see who's in this, So I was like, okay. And I started scrolling through, blah, blah, blah.
And you're looking at sub, not dub, right?
And, okay, and in this case, I was looking at both because I was on my anime list.
Oh, okay.
And it shows both. Okay. And so I was just going to see, like, who I recognize from, like, both English and Japanese. And so I'm going through it, And again, this was after so this was after our whole Dragon Ball thing, and then go watch the Kids WB podcast if you want to hear my whole story about Frieza and all that.
Yeah.
Because I told that whole story there already. But anyway, I was going through the list of characters and stuff, and there was a character named Caesar Clown, and I saw that in Japanese he was voiced by Ryusei Nakao, and that's Frieza, and I was like, D-chan, who's this? and then they're like, oh yeah, from Punk Hazard, and I was like, okay.
What is this?
And so
Punk Hazard? I must investigate.
Yeah. And so that's what I did. And I looked up a clip, and I was like, oh god damn it.
As always, it starts with a character.
As always, it starts with the voice actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually it starts with either the character or the voice actor of that character.
Yeah.
And so Caesar was the catalyst for everything, and that's how I really got into watching One Piece, because I started by watching a couple episodes here and there of Punk Hazard.
Mm-hmm. No context. You just looking at the characters and everything, I'm assuming.
Yeah. I started watching episodes of Punk Hazard just to see Caesar. And and I had no idea what was going on. Again, I had known some characters here and there from back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea what was going on. And
you're like, who the fuck's Frankie? What the fuck? Right.
No, I think I had known Frankie just because of what D-chan had told me. What got me was Robin, because she looked completely different than how I remembered her, because she was white now. I was like, whoa, I remember her having tan skin, and
no
bangs. But yeah. And so, yeah, I was watching that, and then I thought to myself, okay, I'll start from the beginning. I'm gonna try to watch One Piece from the beginning, and I know it's an extremely daunting task, because oh my god, 1,000 episodes, ooh, that's what everyone says, right? And
by the way, yeah, with all that, we just entered Punk Hazard because we're watching it together right now.
Yes,
we have been for the last year and a half. We'll get there, but because we'll have to talk about my story, but that's where we're at right now. So this is actually going to be very probably nostalgic for you, in a way.
Yeah, it is. I've watched these episodes multiple times over before, and again, while I was starting from the beginning, I was also watching out of order, because that's just what I do. I watch things out of order just to get a feel for some of the characters that I might not know yet, and sometimes I see a cool character and I want to watch the arc with them first, so that's what I do. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's hard for me to go just from beginning to end.
That's interesting, though, because, have you never ever, stumbled across, a Wham episode where something gigantic happens in the plot or affects a character, or someone dies, or someone betrays someone, something huge, and you're just like, wow, damn, I don't have the context behind how it led up to this moment, but wow, that's crazy. And then, so it's not I don't think I would consider it ruining it for yourself, but have you ever had something like that where you're like, oh shit, I think I inadvertently spoiled myself just from the watching of the sporadic oh, I'm jumping over here and I'm jumping over here.
Yeah, I get that a lot, actually. I knew because I knew bits and pieces of certain characters' backstories, but I didn't know what the actual backstories were. Obviously, I knew that Ace died. That was something big that I already knew, because Ace is D-chan's favorite character. And so that was super big, when he died, they were talking about that, and so that's just I knew that. So Anyway, this is still going to be about the live action series. It's we have to get through our histories first. So, I'm sure at the beginning there'll be like a skip to this part if you want to hear just about the live action. But anyway,
I'll split this into chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I was jumping around and I was also watching it from the beginning, and
oh wait, pause real quick.
That's kind of what.
Sorry. You know what? Depending on how long it takes, if we catch up to by the time we get to Egghead, the show will probably be fucking done. But if we can get to Egghead soon-ish, by fucking 2025, maybe we'll just do a One Piece like anime episode.
Okay, yeah, we could probably do that.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah, I was just thinking about it.
Yeah. So yeah, I was while I was jumping around here and there and also watching from the beginning, that's around the same time that you started watching, and so we kind of blended our watchings together.
Mm-hmm.
And
didn't you have me watch a bit of it on my own first? I think
you were watching on your own because I had already been watching on my own. We started watching together around the time of, I want to say, Surf Village.
Okay. You know what? That sounds about right. I forgot that we started separately.
Yeah.
I think you were like, watch the first couple, like, somewhat episodes and just let me know what you think if you want to continue it, and then we could watch it together. I think that's how you did it. I forget.
Yeah, I think that's how it happened.
Because in terms of my story, just really quickly, it's short. It's super short. I didn't grow up with One Piece. I never saw, I don't think, by the time I was watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And all that, either One Piece was not on anymore, or it was coming on at times that I just didn't catch it, or if I... Because I'm trying to go through my memory banks, and I can't recall, and not even seeing, like, the fucking, like, cheesy, like, not trailers, but, like, previews for the show. Like, coming up next, One Piece. Like, I don't remember those. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I don't remember, I don't know when, like, that block was. But... yeah, so I never got to catch, like, you know, hear the rap or listen to the silly voices and the dub and everything. And so, over time, just, you know, once I started to watch anime, because my first anime, I think, was probably Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. I just kind of watched those sort of in tandem, but I've watched, obviously, way more. At this point, I've watched the entire show, but way more Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Pokemon. And so then, my first proper, like, you know... outside of, like, the realm of kids TV anime was, like, Soul Eater, and then I just got into anime from there. So, like, I think across, like, my travels, I had heard of One Piece, but I was very, very just acutely aware of the show. Like, I knew... I fucking thought his name was Luffy. I thought you pronounced it Luffy.
I mean, so did I guess, if when I didn't hear it for myself.
Yeah. I didn't really know the characters. I just, you know, saw them around. I think I saw Robin, and so I'm just like, all right, and, like, you know, it literally wasn't until we just started to watch it a couple. I fucking thought you also pronounced it Usopp instead of Usopp. I kept forgetting.
You kept saying that when we first started watching. You like,
yeah, that looked correct. That looked correct to me for a while. And you're like, dude, it's Usopp. I'm like, all right, sorry, but yeah, no, it was literally it wasn't until we started watching it that, you know, now I'm very aware of everything, and I'm loving it. So that's like, for me, that's the main anime.
Yeah, and that's basically how it happened. So we've been watching, you know, ever since then. And at the same time, I have also gone ahead and watched some things on my own. So there were a couple arcs that I had seen in full before we got to them together.
Yeah. You were trying to prep me. I remember.
Yes. I had seen the first one that I ever finished was Thriller Bark, which is my absolute favorite arc. It's so much fun. I'd also seen Punk Hazard, of course. And God, when did I start? Because did I see the whole I saw the whole Water 7 saga. That's right. I saw the whole Water 7 saga by myself before we started watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were prepping me on Robin.
Yes. Oh boy. I remember that night when I saw that episode and I with her backstory. Oh my god, I was crying, man.
Jesus. Yeah, because it's I swear we're getting to live action in a minute, but Nami's was already insanely fucking morbid, and that made me tear up, and then this fucking happens, and I'm like, oh my god.
I cry at Nami's backstory every time. Every single time. And you know what? You know what the thing that I've noticed is, like I said, Belmer's death, just like, every single time, I cry without fail. But it's only the dub. It is only the English version that makes me cry the way it does.
Huh.
I have tested it.
Tested?
I have tested it. And, like, Japanese one, super sad, like, oh my god, like, tearing up. English one, I break down. It's just, like, every single time.
Do you know what moment does it?
Yes.
Oh.
I can't even say it. It's like, I'm gonna actually start crying.
Oh no. Does Belmer say the thing? Is she like, I love you or some thing before the Arlong
No,
points at her?
Nami, love you. It's just like, oh god.
I do wish they lingered on it a bit more. And see, now we're talking a little bit about the live action. Kind of wish they would linger on it a bit more because it happens real quick in the live action version.
Yeah, it does. So anyway, that's our histories with One Piece there.
Yeah, it's good that we're even bringing up moments like this that are earlier in the anime, because again, we're gonna talk a lot about how they've adapted a lot of these. It's the first 50 episodes season 1 covers.
Yeah, about around 50 something.
So, okay. Hi, welcome. It's time to talk about the main topic.
It's time to talk about OPLA.
Do you remember when they announced Netflix was doing a live action version?
I don't remember when they announced. I remember. I don't remember exactly when it was. I remember when they were like teasing a bit of it. I remember because Ji-chan was super excited, and they're like, oh my god, they're doing One Piece live action. And I'm just like, oh, that's super cool. And because, you know, everybody was like, oh my god, live action anime is like, no, because nobody likes it. You know, there was a curse. There was a curse on live action anime. Like, it was always horrible.
I mean, it's like the video game adaptation curse. Yeah,
exactly.
It's very similar.
So, you know, people were just like, oh my god, now they're doing it to One Piece too, and everyone was like super skeptical. No, Ji-chan's right there. They're just like, yes, I'm ready for this. Like, so optimistic. I love that optimism.
Well, it was funny. No, so I forget I guess you had to have told me that it was happening, and I think we were already in our big ass binge when it was happening. So, when that was all going down, I think I remember hearing that the Cowboy Bebop guys were behind it. And me, again, at that point, if I remember right anyway, I could be wrong, but if that's what was going down at that time, then I think, depending on like where we were in our binge, I still didn't know a whole lot of the characters, of the backstories, but I did hear of the reputation that the Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation got, and so I was like, I hope they learn from their lesson. From how they handled it, however they did, because I'm not familiar with Cowboy Bebop, so I'm just taking everyone else's word for it who actually knows and are fans of the show, of the anime, and we're like, oh, the live action show didn't really get it right.
That's another anime maybe we should probably watch, because that's one of like you know, Cowboy Bebop's one of the best ones, as people say.
I think I tried once. Like I can't remember if I actually did. There were a bunch of different shows I tried watching before. I tried watching Trigun, didn't get very far.
It's one of those gateway anime, I think.
I think so, because they say like Bleach, Naruto, yeah, Cowboy Bebop.
We're not watching Naruto.
Why not?
No, it's just I feel like I won't really get into it.
Mm.
I mean, maybe I can get into some of it, but
I don't know anything about it, so.
I mean, neither do I, honestly. I just remember, like, the old promos on Cartoon Network. Naruto!
Naruto. But yeah, no, we were all like, how is it going to turn out? And then, what? We didn't see any of the trailers, did we? Or maybe we did.
Yeah, when the trailers dropped, yeah, I saw them.
Okay. So what was your thought when you saw, like, the first trailer?
Cause, like, I believe there was 2 trailers. There was, like, the one that was, like, a teaser, and then the other, like, fuller one.
Uh-huh.
The teaser, trailer. I was like, all right, okay, yeah, it looks all right. Like, it looked like they were going in the right direction. Looked fine to me. And then, yeah, and then the official trailer and stuff, I was like, okay, like, I can understand. Seeing some of the characters for the first time, like, whoa, like, I keep hearing people say that, like, oh, they did Shanks dirty in the trailer. It's like, I don't know if they did. Like, maybe it's because they didn't show him enough, but I was like, I don't really see that, but maybe. I could see people being on the fence about, like, maybe seeing Arlong for the first time and going like, whoa, I don't know about that, but
Arlong looks fucking awesome. That doesn't look
bad. Yeah, I didn't think it looked bad at all.
Yeah.
And then Buggy rose to stardom.
Because everyone loves their Joker-esque, crazy character.
Yeah, of course.
He's I think portrayed just a smidge different from how he is in the anime, just a little bit, not too much. He's a lot more sarcastic, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's quite different.
Yeah, I can't recall when I really saw it, but I think I might have seen some promos, like maybe like teaser posters and stuff, and I'm like, okay, like it looks like it for sure, and I buy all these actors as the characters. They fully embody them, and I've been watching a lot of those behind the scenes things and them doing their promo stuff, like, they taste these foods that are similar to the devil fruits, or they do this, or One Piece trivia, or like they'll just do that kind of shit, on those different YouTube channels or whatever to promote One Piece, and they're a lot of fun to watch. Like, they genuinely, care about each other. They're all friends, and they, were having fun on set. So like that's the cool part, when you know that they're all super chill. They're not just coworkers. They are genuine friends, and they love each other, and they're having genuine fun in the behind the scenes stuff, and it's not just for the camera because they know they're being filmed for the behind the scenes. No, they love, and they're mega fans of One Piece, and Iñaki got Oda's fucking seal of approval, and he went and met him and everything, and that was like one of the coolest. That was like one of the most heartwarming, like, clips that they've shown off of like this behind the scenes stuff. That he got to meet him, and he's like, I can't imagine anyone else playing Luffy. Like, you're perfect. And he just like wanted to. He just had this smile of like, I'm trying so not to cry right now because it's the highest honor I could ever receive.
Right. I know, that's just so crazy. I think that's what like calmed a lot of people's like fears, was that like Oda was behind a lot of it.
Yes.
And so they thought, okay, well, he knows these characters better than anybody, so if he
Trust
approves
the
it,
process.
then
yeah,
then it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was super hype, and I can't tell you how many times that I've watched OPLA now.
Yeah, right.
At the current time, it's kind of crazy, because when I think back to the entire East Blue saga, I think of OPLA. In my head, like, East Blue is OPLA. Like, I can almost not even remember a lot of the stuff that happened in the anime now, because the OPLA version has taken over my brain.
That's the funny thing too. So of course now we're gonna get into like the episodes, and we can break down like some episodes. We're definitely gonna break down the characters and moments, how stuff translated over. So you're in for a crazy time with this episode. But that was, okay. So one of the biggest critiques I'm seeing, I'm not going too off topic, for the Avatar Last Airbender live action show is that what it cut and what it melded together from, in its live action episodes that it adapted over from the animated episodes, people actually didn't like it too much, because And it's different. It's different storytelling. You know, for One Piece, it's one thing, but for Avatar, there's a lot of morals the characters learn, a lot of character development they go through, and it's not that it was rushed. I mean, maybe in some cases people would argue it was, but like, it was the melding of episode like elements or characters together, and they meet them over here, and besides over here, you know, where they originally did, and all that crap. And yet here in One Piece, they do something, and because of course this came out first, they did something like that where, like, you know, they'll just kind of breeze through this part, or they'll cut entire characters or like side plots, and yet it still works, because not that that stuff felt like filler, because it didn't, but I think what they understood was what it moves everything forward. And that's, I think, those scenes, those moments, those are the biggest things they took from each of these little arcs. I mean, they are arcs, you know. There's at least, 5 or 6 arcs that East Blue, I think, or Romance Dawn, rather, is made up of. Sorry, no, I'm getting everything mixed up. The East Blue Saga is made up of a bunch of arcs. There's at least 5 or 6 of them, if I remember right. And so, that's each, like, pack of, like, maybe 2 or 3 episodes in the show makes up, like, most of those arcs, and I think they nailed it.
Yeah, they really did. And I do have my issues with how some of the things were done. I mean, everyone does. Like, nothing's gonna be perfect. But hey, I have my issues with the anime too, so what? You know. But yeah, I just overall, it's just it's fantastic. I love seeing people's reactions to it. I think that's the reason why you wanted to do this podcast, is because now, while waiting for all the season 2 announcements and, you know, news stuff, we're going back and watching other people's reactions to season 1.
Yeah, that's what I do. If I really like something and I'm super into it, once I've experienced all of it, or at least most of what it has to offer, and I'm super on board, I retroactively go back on YouTube, because sometimes, like, a thing will be out for a while and I barely get onto it, and I watch it and get hyped, and then I'll go back onto YouTube and I'll start finding reaction videos or people talking about, not reviews or anything like that, because I don't want to hear people's too heavily opinionated stuff on this or blah blah blah, but like, I just want to see their in the moment reactions and see if they're on board or if they're not. And it's funny because some people will attach to a character and go, well, that guy, I don't know about him, like, he's a little weird right now, but let's see how he gets later. And that's about as much as I ever hear them really critique, at least from who I've seen. But most people who either have no clue what One Piece is, or some people who are acutely aware, they'll go into OPLA and be like, dude, no, this shit's awesome. Like, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And in some cases too, it makes them want to go back and watch the anime. And that's, like, exactly, I think, what a good adaptation should do, is make you want to see the source material all the more.
Yeah. Although I do like the people who, you know, are still, like, they don't really, maybe they just, like, don't watch anime, or, you know, it's just, and I think it's for those people too. Like, you know, if you don't, you know, you don't have the time to watch all of that, or maybe you just like how things are done in live action better than, you know, animated form. And I know people will say, oh my god, blasphemy, but no, people are like that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so you know, some people are just like, yeah, I'll just wait for season 2 of live action, just keep watching it from there. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool too.
Yeah,
like,
no,
because
totally
then their reactions will be, like, a lot more raw, because they're, like, learning stuff about the characters and, like, the worlds, and it's all brand new to them.
Yeah, for real. Like, for how far we are right now into the anime, by the time we're seeing seasons, like, 2, maybe I'm gonna even say, like, 3, 4, depending on how long the show goes for, which I hope it gets to cover as much as possible. That is, like, kind of their goal. I think the showrunners themselves have said we would like to go as far as we are able to. The cast, I think, have all said they are on board for however long it goes for. They are with it, which is fucking.
They're on board forever.
Which, the shit they're in for. We'll get to that near the end of, like, oh, where do we want to see the show go? Like, in terms of how they're going to adapt, like, characters' backstories, Robin and all that, and how they're going to handle very specific arcs and shit. And, we'll get to that at the end. But, no, that's the coolest thing, is it's a success when, like, everyone loves it. Even those who have their critiques still view it very positively overall. As far as I have seen, from what I've been exposed to, I should say, no one's ever been, like, very openly negative towards this. Like, everyone's I think even saying it's one of the best, if not the best, like, anime live action adaptations.
Yeah.
Because we've had to sit through shit like fucking the stupid Death Note fucking one, and the Dragon Ball Evolution, which is just, that's like the Mario Brothers 80 or 93 movie of of anime, where it's like, okay, Dragon Ball Evolution's in its own, like, ballpark. Like, it's so bad, it's retroactively funny.
It's so funny. Hey, like, nice swing, good form will never not be funny to me. I will quote that for the rest of my life.
It's so good. Yeah, we watched that together in person, and I had you watch it, and oh my god, we were having a blast just making fun of it. It was so funny. But it's bad. Obviously, it's bad. It's not a great adaptation. It does not represent the source material pretty much in the slightest. But no, this, like, with everyone behind it, and of course the creator behind it, like, everything feels right. It has a great feel, it has a great vibe, and it adapts what it adapts very, very well, and and it makes sense. It doesn't feel like anything's missing. Like, just because Django's not here doesn't mean the show loses something right now because of him. They'll probably introduce him later. They'll probably introduce Hachi later. It's things like that, right?
Yeah. And, like, it's not that, like you said, it's not like the entire show, like, loses something huge. Syrup Village did lose a little of what it had. I still think I do prefer a vast majority of Syrup Village in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Because of, like, the things that it, the things that it added to it and the more characters that it had. But
for sure.
But again, it's not like, oh, that it's bad because it didn't have, like, these certain characters or, like, these certain moments. No, like, they just kind of made they made up for it by having other things. Yeah.
Hell, even the way they change some things is gonna give a lot of things more meaning later.
Right.
Again, provided they get that far. Like, Mary's whole thing and the Going Mary, my fucking god, that's gonna make Water 7 so much more impactful.
Oh my god, I can already see that the way that they'll do that. Hopefully they will acknowledge it. Like, I hope they don't forget that they did that.
Yeah.
Like, that would suck if they just forgot. But if it does get that far and they do acknowledge it, oh my god, it's like, ooh, I'm gonna be crying.
Yeah, it's gonna get real. I mean, I almost did in the anime. Like, it's holy shit.
Oh yeah, I cried when they burned the Mary. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely that. I'm also thinking, like, what the catalyst for all that when Usopp and Luffy get into it.
Yep.
Like, that's gonna be, because he's already so attached to it that, like, and he's still alive in the anime. So now, with where it came from, where the ship came from, everyone and everything attached to it, and along with Mary especially in this version, the live action version, like, it's gonna mean it's going to mean so much more to Usopp. So I really hope that they nail it.
It's gonna mean, like, the thing is, it's gonna mean, like, so much more to Usopp, but it's also gonna mean so much more to Luffy too, to, like, have to leave it behind, because he was the one who said, like, okay, then we'll name it, like, in his honor.
Yes. Yeah.
And, like, he did that, so it's gonna mean so much to both of them, but he knows that it's the right decision to, like, get a new ship and leave it behind. It's like, oh my god, it's gonna be horrible. That fight, good god.
I'm ready for it. Sorry, I said we were doing this at the end, but this is the one we had to mention right now, because, I mean...
Yeah.
Like I said, but because it's some things that they change, it's definitely gonna, really have an impact, but they gotta do it right. They gotta remember what they've done here in season 1, so when we get that far, a lot of these can have their different payoffs and those moments, again, just will be so much more impactful. Not to say it's going to overdo what or override how the anime made us feel. Clearly not. But it's going to be a bit different. It's going to have a different connotation because it's an adaptation. So they have... Everyone who doesn't know and hasn't seen the anime, like you were saying, yeah, if they get to Water 7 and all that shit goes down, people who have not seen the anime but are still going to feel the feels, they're going to be crying by the time all of that happens.
Yeah.
It's going to have the same impact. And I think that's ultimately what like the show does really well, is it hits those beats and it's the same impact as you have in the show or in the anime. Whether or not, like I said, like, oh, maybe the bit where Bellamere dies was a little too, not rushed, but they just kind of like, well, because they have to get to more stuff. But the impact's still there. And Nami's backstory, all of it, and who she grew up to be is still there. Even if it's just remixed a little bit differently, but it's all, the help me moment is still there. The impact is still there.
That's the thing. It's
that's also just great acting.
Exactly. It's like, maybe if you don't have this, you have another thing to make up for it. And that's exactly what I mean, like, in that case specifically, is because Bellamere's death in live action may not have been as impactful as it was in the anime, but they made up for it with the help me scene. Yeah. Because that was spectacular. That's what made me cry. I was like, oh my god. Oh god.
Yeah, I think we both teared up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was still there. And that's the thing. It's keeping those same feels, and it's all going to fall down the same path, but bits are going to be like tweaked, twisted. Some things may be removed now. Because like I said, we don't know if some characters like that are going to be fully removed. There's no way you really can do that. I can't see Hachi never coming into live action because he kind of has to for certain other arcs and sagas down the road, but Django's kind of inconsequential. I don't know if he really had like huge... Did he have a huge impact in certain bits? He just kind of comes back every so often.
Yeah, right now he's not really doing much. Like him and Full Body, they're kind of just in the background. Like they're there whenever like Hina shows up or something. And even she doesn't really come back that often.
Yeah. That's the cool part too. Everyone, because we're gonna get to like heroes and villains too, I think, right now as well. How everyone was adapted over. Again, okay, so first off, perfect fucking casting.
Oh yeah, everybody's. That is some of the most accurate casting I've ever seen in my life.
Because we were talking about like their kinship and everything, but I just mean like just them in costume and them there. Like I'm looking at an image right now where they've got their feet up on the barrel. I buy everyone as it really helps that, you know, of course the costuming department is so fucking on point that everyone looks the way they're supposed to. Even shit down to, oh my god, even shit down to the stuff that's just in the background that you wouldn't even think about. They got some of those like pirate extras that aren't even like memorable actual like prominent crewmates from like say Shank's crew or whoever else. They're all accurate, but like even just dudes in the background look like some of those just background characters from the show or from the anime. And for the costuming, I mean, even shit like Luffy's anchor shirt when he was a kid, they got that, and you didn't really have to if they didn't care so much. They didn't have to because it's such a small inconsequential detail, but they did it anyway. We were talking
again with with like the costume design is like they went so far as to recreate like costumes from the manga that we've never seen in the anime. Like it's just like, whoa,
that's awesome.
That's crazy. We've never seen the characters like actually wear these in like any type of animated or moving form. So and of course also with the music, you obviously you're gonna have to have We Are in there somewhere, but like we were just talking like last night about Bink's Brews in there way before it's ever gonna factor in, and I was like, what? I never heard it in the actual show. I'm going through like on YouTube like the OST for the score of the show, and I was like, whoa, hold on, what? And I listened to it, I'm like, oh, first off, it just sounds cool that, you know, but like the fact that it was in there, and I'm like,
attention to detail.
Can we talk about like how that main theme, like do 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 do, that's become synonymous with One Piece now. That is One Piece.
The one thing I want to say too, which I think we'll also save most of the discussion for at the end, but I want to say it now. I think I might have said this to you last night when we were watching. I hope that because of and this is just the first season, but like the impact that OPLA has already had in the One Piece world and in the IP and everything, that the anime retroactively brings little tiny bits of OPLA into it before it ends. If it's even a musical cue where they use the OPLA's theme, because that theme, actually, you were saying, yeah, it's so good. It's not an adaptation of anything. It's its own theme, but that's what brands OPLA as its own thing. And so because of that, like, it works so well. And with the score itself, like, it sounds great. And my lord, some of the themes for the villains, holy shit.
Yeah.
So they to everything, every little facet of the show, like, there's care and attention to detail and theming and everything, everywhere, in every facet, from the casting to the costuming to the background, the extras and everything else, to the choreography. They got the moves right. They call out their attacks. It feels like an anime. Even like the framing of certain shots. Like I remember, one of the things I'll never forget, and this is like where it's like the impact. The impact is right there. Of the show is right, like I'm talking the shot immediately after the help me scene, where it's they regroup with Sanji and Zoro and all them. The way they're just sitting around and Sanji's flicking this thing to light his cigarette, that shot is like, that's such an anime shot. And I remember again with everyone we've been watching with the reactions to the Real Rejects, they looked at that shot and they're just like, oh, this is a fucking live action anime, dude. And it's just like, that's when it clicks. And it's because everything comes to a head, and everything, just the framing, like I said, I'm a broken record at this point, but like every facet of it all comes together, and it's so good.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, when it comes to that part specifically, I feel like a lot of people probably sad we didn't get the walk to Arlong Park, because that's one of like everyone's big favorite moments, but it still worked. Even if we didn't get that, it still worked.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So many moments, so many things they got right.
Yeah. I guess maybe we should start at the beginning and just kind of go through it.
Yeah, I do have the episode list up right here. I love that they called the first episode Romance Dawn.
Yes.
So we'll kind of, I think, maybe, since it's 8 episodes, we'll probably just group it like 2, 2, 2, and 2. Because the first 2 episodes dive into Luffy's backstory. We get Buggy, we get, the first 3 Straw Hats, and then 3 and 4 we get some Usopp and all of that, and we get some of Zoro's backstory. 5 and 6 is Sanji and all that stuff. 7 and then introducing Arlong and everything, or rather, I think episode like fucking 3 or 4 introduces Arlong, but it sets up for Nami's bit, and then 7 and 8 is Arlong Park and all that.
Yes.
So how do you think they for the first episode of this show, and then doing like the first like maybe what I want to say 2 or so episodes, maybe 3 of the anime, like how do you think, like from Alvida to introducing Luffy's Gum powers, like how'd you feel about all that, like just from an adaptation standpoint?
Honestly, I thought it was like it was done superbly, because it felt like, it felt different, but it like different in a good way, and that's the entire thing. So I kind of like how they, and this goes into just like Luffy as a character, and the way that Iñaki like portrays him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's a lot more balanced. He does feel a lot more human and not like an exaggerated anime character all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people like you know, are, you know, they're drawn to him and they like him because like he's very inspiring in the way that he portrays Luffy. And like so in that very first scene, like the whole popping out of the barrel thing, of course in the anime we get like, yeah, and like, you know, he pops out of the barrel and he's like, meat, you know, like like where's the food? And that sets up exactly how Luffy is in the anime, and that's perfect. But I like how it's a little more like stay quiet, what the hell? You know, like Kobe's like all scared. It's just like, I'm not gonna kill you, okay? He's like, and it's just like, what? It's, you know, like, who are you? It's like, you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm a pirate, but I'm a different kind of pirate. And then it's just kind of like, and then it just weaves right into the backstory. Whereas in, you know, in the anime, it's like, we got a whole episode dedicated to Luffy's backstory, and that was like, what, episode 4? Like, we had to wait a couple episodes for that, so.
That's also the thing, too, like how you were saying, one of the things, too, I think it was one of the key things they said about the show is that it's something of a more, quote-unquote, grounded experience. So I think with what their budget allows and what they're going to be able to, because we're going to get to, like, you know, Arlong and all that stuff, and the Fishmen are, like, I think where a lot of the budget went for the prosthetics and costuming and all that stuff, because they look insane, and they look awesome. They're supposed to not look... they're supposed to look very humanoid, but still have very just weird anatomy, and like their lips are pronounced or their eyes are pronounced. They have maybe a longer neck or something. Again, Hachi's fucking insane. So it does suck that we didn't get to see him right away. But they got a lot of that right, and you can tell who's supposed to be who. They're not even just random fishmen. You know, everyone looks the way they're supposed to. However, we haven't seen like a full CGI character yet, and I'm very curious in season 2 how they're going to handle Chopper, and so like we don't really know yet how all that's going to pan out. You know, Alvida's not gigantic, but you know who they picked is, you know, she's a good choice. So that's really interesting on its own. But then, too, I think what they've introduced into this version of One Piece is a more cultural, worldly type feel. Since we're going around the world, you know, this One Piece world, and we're going to all these different islands or villages or what have you, towns, it's cool that we get all these ethnicities, and even the main characters themselves are of different ethnicities. You know, Usopp's black in this. Luffy's, well, Inaki's Mexican or Spanish or whatever he's supposed to be, but Luffy has that in him now. You know, he's got an accent. Sanji has an accent, and so it's interesting. But it's things like that I like about adaptations. I, for example, it's not really an adaptation, but like I didn't really care as a small little child. This is just an example. When the Thomas and the Magic Railroad movie, all the trains were voiced by English actors with accents. Every train had an accent because Thomas is a British IP. Didn't know that because, you know, I grew up with Alec Baldwin and why am I forgetting his name? I shouldn't be forgetting his name. George Carlin. Jesus Christ, sorry. As the narrator of the show. But in any case, yeah, here, so I don't really mind that, you know, they look a little different here and there, but, and they have, some of them have accents, but that just means, what? We'll get to rumors for casting for season 2, and that makes me excited for someone very specific, so.
Yeah, it's like, and you know what's really ironic about the thing that you just said is like, that's kind of something that I like about what 4Kids always did with their dubs, was they made everyone have an accent, even if it didn't fit them. Like, 4Kids almost brought that cultural blend in. It's like, why does this character have an accent? It's like, I don't know, but it fits. Like, you know, Joey, why has he got Brooklyn Rage? I don't know, but it fits.
Brooklyn Rage. Mihawk was what, French?
Yeah, he's French. Why was Kabaji French? I don't know. Well, maybe it kind of doesn't fit for them. Well, it almost fits for Mihawk. Whatever.
Shanks already had an accent before this adaptation. Although it was more Australian-ish, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like it was either like Australian or it was like they were trying to be British, but it came out Australian, just like Valen.
Also, yes, Iñaki is Mexican. I was like, is he Spanish? Is he Mexican? I'm like, I don't remember.
But yeah, that's the very ironic thing about 4Kids. But yeah, I do like that they're doing that as well, and with the rumors that like you said, that we are possibly getting a Mexican Robin as well.
Oh Jesus, I'm ready. Oh my God, I remember we took a day and we were just like, well, with that in mind, let's look up some Mexican actresses who could portray, who looks, just off their like celebrity photos alone, like who looks the most like they would play like more tan bangs Robin. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
I think it's really funny how Robin shot up to be one of my like most favorite characters. she giggles because attractive. Anyway, but she's cool
because I knew that you were gonna like Robin, and I was
did.
just like, you're gonna like her.
I didn't know at
You're
first.
just like, because you didn't see you didn't see the cowgirl thing as like really hot. I did, and so but then suddenly in Thriller Bark she has fishnet leggings, and you're just like, okay, now I care.
Thriller Bark Robin is best Robin. Anyway, one of. I mean, she's got very many good outfits, but anyway. Yeah. That's on the podcast now. Thank you.
Southern Robin, with the accent and everything. I love it.
We should also very quickly talk about some of the more general things the show does before getting back into specifics. We talked about the worldly feel, different cultures, ethnicities, and what have you. For some reason, okay, I there's two things that are a little. One's odd, but it's not. I wouldn't call it a critique. I think it's weird, but it doesn't impact the show for me, I guess. A lot of stuff throughout, there's moments and everything that in the anime take place during the day. A lot of them take place at night. There are a lot of night scenes in this show.
Yeah.
A lot of Usopp stuff takes place at night. Alvida's little small brawl there takes place at night. The Help Me scene takes place at night.
Yeah, it's a lot of it does take place at night, and it's not that I dislike it. Sometimes I only dislike how dark it can actually be, and I can't see anything.
Yeah. I hope to get a little better with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, some of it really works. Again, I prefer Surf Village in the anime. It was during the day and stuff, and there were some cooler things that happened, but I still appreciate what they did. They almost made it a precursor to Thriller Bark.
Yeah.
It was like a spooky kind of mansion, and
the killer in the mansion.
Okay.
Yeah. So, again, and that just goes back into like the way they handled the characters, because Kuro, holy shit, like he wasn't really. I was so funny because I remember I don't usually fall for stuff like that, but they got me in the anime when we were first watching, because we watched that together. I think that was when we started the binge. We were like, I was like kind of in the middle of that or whatever, and I didn't see the reveal yet for him, so I'm like, okay, why is he like fucking adjusting his glasses like that with his palm? Like, what the fuck? He's weird. And not knowing that, when the reveal happens, it's because he's just used to that instinctively because of his fucking claws, and I'm like, oh shit, now I get it.
Yeah.
And so, like, stuff like that, they, handled really well. Now, we say rush and all that. I do think his reveal was a little too quick. Plus, they put a little too much emphasis, I think, on, like, here, look at this guy, look at the butler.
Yeah.
I did not know anything that was going to happen in the anime. So, it legitimately, I was like, oh, shit. But here, like, Zoro kind of, like, already sort of recognizing him, and
Yeah, he's being like really suspicious and stuff.
It makes you suspicious, and it goes, okay, so something's gonna happen with him. And a lot of people, again, going back to the review or the reactors, a lot of them were like, oh, so something's up with the butler, and I was like, oh, well, their eyes are already on him. That's the point. The eyes are not supposed to be on him yet because you don't know.
And I think most of the people put it together because of like the blue tea, and most people, even though they shouldn't question it because it's the One Piece universe and like
true
blue tea is nothing in this universe, but like they still question it anyway
because it looks off,
because it does look off, and they're just like, blue tea, that's weird. And then they're just like, what if the butler's poisoning her? And then like it's just like, yeah, okay.
Not even like 5 minutes later, oh, the butler's poisoning her. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the reveal is quite quick, and I don't think that Usopp got enough of a chance to shine in his own arc. That was one of like my major problems. I think
I can see that. I mean, because they breezed through. They didn't even like mention, oh, he used to go up to the window, and that stuff's out.
Yeah, and it didn't have like the little kids that were like his crew and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
like they're not there.
Some pirates. Ironically enough, we get Zoro's backstory. We get some of Usopp's as well with his mom and everything, but like,
yeah, we get Zoro's backstory during Store Village, which is very funny.
That's really funny. The other thing I was gonna mention too, so I mentioned like stuff that happened in the anime during the day happens at night here. This is more of like again a general point. I think you told me about this because I think you already watched OPLA before me. The abundance of the usage of the word shit.
Yeah, so this is a problem that I have with many pieces of media who think that think that, oh, we gotta swear a lot.
Someone's either been playing too much Uncharted or watching too much MCU, because now they say the word shit a lot, and they'll stretch it and put it into places that just doesn't make any sense. Why does Buggy call them shitiots? Like, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's just like, what? It's almost like that's not... you don't need it. It's kind of a problem that I have with anime in general, like the word bastard.
Yeah. Well, like, I've heard that so much in so many different anime that I just don't care. I
mean, I don't care. I mean, I'm
They'll
like,
say damn it a lot. They'll say damn or damn it a lot.
That's fine. Like, I'm desensitized to it, but like sometimes it's just a little bit out of place. Like, but yeah, the overusage of the word shit is it's not so good. It didn't need to happen. I will always go back to Sanji's goodbye to Zep.
I was gonna say that. I had that in my head. He says it 3 times.
Yeah, he didn't need to say it that many times.
He said it 3 times. 3.
Yeah, because like, you know, he's like, you know, like
living under your shitty roof, cooking at your shitty restaurant.
At your shitty restaurant. Thank you for putting up with my shit all these years. It's like, all you had to say was thank you for putting up with me. That's all you had to say. Like, you didn't have to say shit again.
That's the I love that we had the same example. I was I'm waiting to say it, and then you said it. I was literally again watching reactors and stuff yesterday, and yeah, whenever it gets, I mean, of course no one really cares from the reactors that they say shit so much, but like watching those scenes when they feature them in the reactions and everything, and I see that scene, I'm always like, what could he have said there that would have just me or whatever. Like, I'm just trying to think of like replacement words or.
I don't know. You just say crap. Thank you for putting up with my crap. I don't know.
Yeah, crap would have worked, you know. Yeah, I do hope they tone that down for season 2. That's if we had any genuine critiques about the show, that's not even negative, but something that could be changed or watered down. Definitely don't say shit as much. If Chopper says the word shit, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't want Chopper to use those words.
He should not be saying shit.
Especially not in front of Robin. Oh my god. Not in front of your mama.
Mama. I say that, and then on the other hand, ironically, it was really funny to hear Zoro say, "Oh, fucking clown." Like, that was funny.
That was funny. that was funny because it was just like they don't usually drop the fuck bomb. So
So yeah, that's more of a general critique, but you know, maybe less of that in the next one.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite villain? I like how you'll always appreciate that Don Krieg's just not in this.
I will appreciate that because I didn't like Don Krieg to begin with. He was one of my least favorite villains. I don't like. I don't want to say that I dislike Baratier in the anime because it's not that I dislike it. It had really good. It had good parts. It had good stuff about it. I think at the time I was watching it, we watched that one together. That's when
we were
already.
Yeah.
We had already blended our watches together, and so. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was just out of it, not paying attention, but it just like I don't know. Baratier's never really stuck with me as much.
I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that the method in which Zeph's like, "Yo, Luffy, you need to work for me, man," is that they accidentally launch a fucking cannonball into the goddamn restaurant.
I forgot that happened.
I keep forgetting that's.
I completely forgot that happened until you just said it. Like I was. The thing that always gets me, this will always make me laugh, is I was paying so little attention that when they explained how Zeph lost his leg in the flashback, I accidentally assumed the correct thing. And I know that sounds weird, but in the anime, they changed it to where he what did he lose it when he was like pushing something?
I think just trying
the
to
ship or
he
was
in that blackout moment when the ship like capsizes and gets destroyed, and then when they're on the island, when that happened, he lost his leg. I think trying to save Sanji or something.
Yeah, it got caught in something. Something there. But in the manga and in OPLA, it's that he ate his own leg. Obviously, and I was paying so little attention at that point that I was just like, oh, he ate his leg, and like that ended up being the correct thing, even though I was watching the anime. Like I already knew the right way that he lost his leg, even though they explained it, and I was just like, it just went over my head. It's so funny.
I gotta say though, for a big boy that loves his food and loves watching food be made in any kind of show or anime, the streamlined process in which they focus a lot on the food, a lot on Sanji, a lot of all that and that makes everyone else, all the reactors too, hungry, and it's just every time like a chef, a cook, someone else gets introduced of that sort, and you have to have your food episode. It's good. I think the everything with the Baratier just like works in OPLA again with how streamlined it is and how much they did remove like Don Krieg's everything related to him, but what they chose to focus on and having Zoro fight Mihawk and everything. Mihawk just first off on that, like, my god, I think he's my favorite villain of OPLA.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, well, knowing what I know about Mihawk, I don't know if I would fully count him as a villain, but in season 1 of OPLA, yes, you technically can. So, if we're going by that,
I mean, he is more neutral, isn't he? More than anything. That's probably what I should have. I probably should have said.
Because he's a warlord. So So but if we're going by that villain logic, then yes, I would say Mihawk is probably my favorite. Everyone was just done like so well. I really I really like Buggy, obviously. I like how they did him. It's very, very funny.
Yeah. Kabudgy.
Kabudgy, Jesus Christ. I don't know why he decided to pronounce his name like that. It's Kabaji. When I first heard that, like, because I got up like supremely early to watch the first episode, and when I heard that, I was like, Kabudgy? Excuse me?
The fuck? Yeah, Buggy was handled very well.
Yeah.
Despite all the shits and everything.
Yeah, despite all that. I really like how they did Kuro.
Yeah. Again,
I think he's like really creepy, but in like the cool way.
Yeah, yeah. They made him like a slasher villain.
Yeah, they did, and I although I find it hilariously out of context, the way that he says Kaya's of age, it's like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't need to say that. Oh no. Sounded horrible. But that made him creepier. But yeah, I definitely like how they did that, and even Arlong, I think they did
okay, so
great too.
So I'm gonna like retroactively kind of like take back what I was saying. With Mihawk being more neutral, I mean, he's one of my favorite characters, I should then say. But in terms of like a straight villain, yeah, no, Arlong is like, I think probably like way up there for me in terms of how they've portrayed him here. He's really good. They hit all the right beats. Like, he's intimidating. He's not as big as he's supposed to be because again, that's the more quote unquote grounded thing they're doing. He's a big guy, and I want to know too if this throwaway little thing was actually a kind of very subtle jab towards their own rules of being more grounded. Because when Arlong and Luffy see each other for the first time in the Broad Day, Arlong goes, "I thought you'd be a bit bigger," and Luffy goes, "Yeah, I thought the same. I thought you'd be bigger." Right? Like, that's what I was thinking. And it's like, yeah, I wonder if that was like a little throwaway like joke of the fact that like Arlong's huge. He's at least like 7-8 fucking feet tall.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't really make that connection, but yeah, he in the anime he is very, very big.
He's still big, but he's not as big in he's still threatening as well in OPLA.
Yeah.
We still get a sense of, and I love too in general with the villains that and characters like Mihawk where like they're, how everyone says their power level, like, my god, they're keeping that accurate. No one's getting watered down because that has to do with special effects and shit. But when Mihawk just slices the fucking ship in half, like, shit like that.
Oh my god.
Like, because these dudes are fucking insane in the anime. One single devil fruit eater can, like, do so much shit. Like, right now we're in Thriller Bark, and what was that? Or, sorry, Thriller Bark, what? We're in, Punk Hazard. Which is what? A whole island that's hot and cold because of the dudes. I'm forgetting everyone's name at the moment, so forgive me.
Because of Aokiji and Akainu.
Yes. So like, just the two of them, like, kind of did that, right? And that's like the point I'm trying to make. Like the scaling and just how powerful they are. I mean, look, also no further than Marineford, because Jesus.
I know,
and
seriously.
Impel Down. Like,
yeah.
Everything that happens there is, like, holy shit.
I keep forgetting that the reason Marineford, like, looks the way it does with, like, all the, icy stuff covering is, like, Aokiji changed the entire battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude.
Yeah. That's really fucking funny. So I hope stuff like that stays, and that they stay very true to that. Because right now they are, which is good. Again, with what they can get away with their special effects and everything on the budget, like, I hope that they... First off, I hope they get a way bigger budget, which I'm pretty sure they will for Season 2, and we'll just continue onward for what they need to show off and what characters need to be like. And I hope that they portray them as such in future seasons, because there are some crazy motherfuckers. And that's what I'm hoping too as well. Going back to Arlong, which will then go into, like, what I want to see as well, is that, like I touched on it before, but Arlong and all the fishmen, they look great in live action. That would be one, like, the easier, I mean, quote unquote easier, let's, for lack of a better descriptor, the easier solution would have been to just make them full CGI, because then you could really pronounce their features and shit. But for the prosthetics and everything else that they did on them, they look great, and it's believable because they're really there, and all those features are really there. Nothing on them was CGI'd at all.
And I think a lot of people really miss, like, practical stuff like that. So they're kind of like bringing it back, because, like, we see all the practical effects and all that, all that stuff in old movies, and we're like, man, I miss when they used to do stuff like this.
No, for sure, yeah.
And, like, so now OPLA's kind of they're kind of blending it together with the characters, and they're just like, yeah, we can make them CGI, but we're gonna like actually do some prosthetics and like very practical.
And so that makes me wonder, like, okay, so how are characters gonna look in since we've got a lot of their actors and everything, how's some of the characters in season 2 going to look? How's Chopper going to look? Again, if we're thinking way far ahead, you cannot put a motherfucker like Moria in... You cannot cast a man. He is so, like, what the fuck is this guy that, like... That has to be all...
You cannot cast a man!
That has to be all CGI, like... So I'm wondering how that's going to look and how that's going to work and how they're going to move and, like... Because a lot of how these characters move, how they are literally animated as well, and... how they walk or how they fight, like, it's very important. It's very important.
It's like, what about Brooke, What are they going to do?
They're
going to get a real human skeleton.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be all CGI.
They're going to make it walk around.
They'll have his human form. Obviously, there's going to be a dude, but then, like, his normal skeletal self will be CGI. But it makes me excited. I'm not even like worried. I'm just excited. And I'm curious to see how they're gonna pull shit like that off. Because we're getting fucking Whopple in season 2. How they gonna do his like metal ass, muzzle ass mouth or whatever? Like
right. And we're getting the giants too.
Them too, exactly. And they might be a little bit easier. I mean, I know that again they have very
that's
pronounced...
a little easier because like with big green screen technology,
you can blow them up
big and stuff like
With again, like, their more pronounced features and how, like, round they can be if they're, like, beefy, fat dudes or whatever the case may be, like, yeah, how are they gonna do that? A lot of the Baroque Works dudes, too, are gonna be very interesting to see.
Right.
That is...
a lot to look forward to.
Yeah, no, seriously. And that is already right there the majority of... That's all the episodes of season 1. We kind of covered through the characters and the moments and the villains. We kind of covered all the episodes. I think in order as well, which is awesome. But with how we're saying stuff that we're looking forward to, I'm excited to see how a lot of these characters and how a lot of the villains are going to evolve, because we talked about this as we were watching a lot of those previous arcs. So even just how they were adapted, or rather like how they evolved, character development from the older stuff they were first introduced in to where we were seeing them in, like, it varies for different characters, but like the biggest example I'm going to give right now is Buggy, right? Like, I didn't care about Buggy too much when he was a fun, cool character to follow in those first arcs and stuff, and when he came back with Alvita. After that, he kind of vanished. Seeing him in fucking Impelled Down in Marineford, like, oh my God. He changed, so he was fun to watch, and like, the fact that he was like just reluctantly going with everything and everyone, and then teaming up with Luffy and doing all that stuff, like, it's so cool to watch, like, these friendships form across some of these past villains or whatever the case may be, and then they're still trying to usurp each other and still trying to do, like, their own greedy thing, but then some of them still care for one another. And I want to see Bon Clay, because I didn't really care about him at the beginning. He was just weird and silly, but then, like, he genuinely is, like, a good guy by the end, and it's like...
Right. It's like, and that's just something, and that's something I will always say, like, to anyone who's watching the anime, maybe you're just starting out, maybe
as well.
Like, or just, yeah, exactly, like, or you're planning to watch it, like, any character that you see at, like, the beginning, maybe, like, around, from the beginning to, like, Alabasta or something, any character that makes a return appearance in Impel Down, you will like them so much more in Impel Down than you ever did before.
Yeah.
And that goes with so many characters, like Buggy, Mr. 3,
fucking Crocodile.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Bon Clay. It's like, no, it
who's
really
coming in
works
season
for, like,
2?
almost
like
everybody.
Yeah. Dude, I am so ready for Croc in season 2. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. I think he's one of the. So we still, at the time of this podcast recording, we're still waiting on, like we were saying, the casting for like Robin and all them, because we know they're gonna come in. Vivi, Croc's one of them still too. They've already given the teases. Of course, he's coming, but I am really interested to see who's gonna play him. And again, if they can get that far and they can stick true to the source and how they want to evolve their version of the characters as well, like I really want to see those turnarounds for a lot of these guys, because it was unexpected. I for one didn't really know what was going to go down. I didn't know who the fuck we were going to be meeting throughout all of those arcs and everything. So to see everyone come together, and Marineford's going to be, I just realized Marineford's going to be fucking huge. The scale, the scope, how many characters are there? It's a full-out war. How many characters are going to be there with all their prosthetics, all their special effects, all the powers and everything, and then of course with Ace, and it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I just can't wait. I've been on the OPLA Discord, checking all the time, for news and everything. I get a ping when there's announcements and stuff, so I go right to there and see if there's any new stuff. But I'm keeping up with all the news, all the cast announcements, and it's been looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, with who they've already cast for season 2, I'm excited to see them in action.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're not getting Jamie Lee Curtis as Dr. Correja. A lot of people were hoping that we would, but we're not.
Scheduling conflicts.
Scheduling conflicts, or whatever they say. So that's too bad, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure whoever they do choose will be great.
Yeah, funny enough, she would have been the only one I would have recognized, the only actress would have recognized. And that's the cool thing too, right? Is that I don't know any of these guys. I don't know any of these actors. And that's great, because I get to remove the actor from the character, and I can just, like I said, see them for the character, because they are the character. It's not just because they really love their characters so much, and they already embody them with just how silly they are off camera and in the behind the scenes shit. And because I don't know them, not saying that they're no names, because they're certainly not, but I'm not familiar with them, right? They didn't choose these Hollywood stars or whatever, right? It's more so these guys that are already fans, that fit the roles, who can embody the characters. That's who they chose, and that's who I see. And that's exactly how casting, in my opinion, should be.
Right.
And so that's hopefully going to just keep getting reflected in the new casts for season 2 and for onward, and whoever else they're going to bring in, and especially too, again, if characters do go full CGI like Chopper or Moria or somebody else, any of those weirdo dudes that are just so fucking either big or just their anatomy is all over the place, and it's you're gonna have to CGI that guy or something, right? Whoever voices them, because they're probably not gonna get. I mean, I keep forgetting her name. I'm sorry. Who voices Chopper?
Brina Palencia.
If they bring her to voice him in OPLA, awesome. Then you already are okay, if it's CGI Chopper with her voice, cool. Then that's ideal, probably, for a lot of people, right? But if they go a different direction, then hopefully everyone continues to stay open to how they portray them.
Yep. Yeah, that's, I was just gonna say the same thing. I hope, a part of me hopes that, they will have the same voice, but at the same time, sure, they could get someone completely different, just, to speak to that different version of the character, and that'll be completely fine. The same whenever they bring in Brooke. Maybe they'll get someone different, and I'll be okay with that. Despite my bias, I'll be okay with that. But yeah, it's there's a lot to look forward to. There are some names that apparently a lot of people do recognize, like the guy who's playing Mr. 3. people do recognize that name. I don't know. I don't know what he's from. I've never seen him in anything before. So yeah, but apparently he's like really big amongst a certain group of people. Maybe he's I don't know, maybe he's been in like another Netflix show or like something else that's pretty huge.
I mean, because my point too is that like it's not like these like universally known people. I mean, I think Jamie Lee Curtis might be up there as somebody like that because we know her from a bunch of different stuff. A lot of people know her from a bunch of different stuff, and she just has such a familiar face and name. So like, that's what I was saying for me personally. Is she'd be like the one that would stand out, not because in a bad way, like oh why did they cast her, but it's more of like okay, well, if she can embody the character, awesome. But like I do see her, I see Jamie Lee Curtis. Right?
Yeah.
And especially with her being in Borderlands and all that stuff, like, so she's getting around right now in this space. So it's no wonder she even said okay to this in the first place. Because I know her from shit like fucking Freaky Friday.
Right, exactly.
And whatever. So, like, with Lindsay Lohan. So, like, I would not have thought of her as, you know, Kureha, but seeing as she's older now and she's been in all these different things, that she's kind of branching out. Like, I never would have thought she would have joined a video game adaptation either. But, I would have been down for it. But with who they have and who they've been continuing to cast for season 2, like, I'm glad that no one looks immediately recognizable to me. Because then I have the luxury of being like, okay, well, let me see what you look like in costume, basically. And I want to see, like, how you look as the character. Because no matter if you sound a bit different from how I know them to sound in the anime, again, it's an adaptation, so you have to put that aside. I now want to see the performance. That's basically where I am with that.
Yep. That's all we need to see.
With that said, are you fucking excited for season 2?
I am going to call off work for season 2.
I hope nobody from her place of work sees this, but anyway.
Yeah, no, I deserve it. I don't care. I was like, I'm sorry, One Piece. It's more important.
We need, I think, to watch this together blind. I need to be right there with you.
Yeah.
Because I need to see your reactions to all the different shit.
And you just know that I'm going to like be watching it like 7 times. I'm gonna be watching it by myself, with you, with my dad, like with Hari, with each, you know.
And then the reactors. So because of how you said like, and how many times you've already watched season 1, I've only, I think, seen season 1 all the way through maybe twice on Netflix because the first time was with you. But vicariously through all the reactors, then yeah, my account has racked up as well because I'm watching full reactions of the episodes. Of course, they have to cut it and everything because of copyright. But when they cut into the biggest moments or whatever, or the funniest jokes, I'm getting all of the big points per episode, so that I would, in my own head, count that as watching the episode with the reactor. And so I've watched a bunch of different reactors, watch all 8 episodes. So that's helping me remember the story beats and everything and how stuff goes.
I can quote a lot of season 1 now.
That's good. I love when you quote things.
Yeah. Everyone I show it to is just like, yeah, this is really good. I want to see more. So.
Yeah. Again, in terms of like genuine criticisms, I don't have any besides them saying shit too much. And maybe try to have, I guess, some of those prominent day scenes stay in the day, I guess, because there were just a bunch of different scenes and climaxes were happening at night, and it was a little weird to see that that one happens at night, that one happens also at night. So hopefully they played with more times a day in season 2.
Can we talk about how they made Helmeppo a way more likable character?
My god, yes! Holy shit, dude! The fact too. I mean, there are a lot of things we still haven't talked about. Because it's funny how I think you were catching on to this, and a bunch of other people were catching on to it, where not only have they been adapting what well, let's get to Helmeppo first. Yeah, I don't know why he had that nude scene, but he has been handled very well, and that makes me excited to see him and Kobe come back way later. Provided they don't do this weird A-B story type thing with them, and they're gonna be in season 2 as well. I don't know if that's gonna. I kind of hope with Garp and all them that they kind of like leave them in season 1 and we don't see them again until way later, because that's pretty much what happens in the anime. Except in a different way, because we only see them kind of in like those first couple arcs, and then we do not see them again. We don't hear a peep from them until way fucking later.
Right, like they're in like the first 3 episodes or so, and then like way later we get like 2 episodes that shows their training with Garp and stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that we don't see them until like after Annie's lobby.
And then they're handsome as fuck.
And they've got their glow up going on, and
and I want to see that glow up with these actors. I need to see that now, because they become so much more like into their own by that point, and it shows the growth, and it shows even their companionship. Like they already have that going at the end of season 1, because Helmeppo actually calls Kobe his friend, but he can't commit to it because he's like, oh, or whatever, But they're growing on each other, which is awesome, and so yeah, I definitely want to see how they evolve. But that also again brings up another thing that how I was saying, we said it with being Sprue and everything, but like how they chose to bring some things in right now in season 1 in their version of East Blue that does not happen, and characters that are not here for way fucking later, until way later. And knowing that Garp's Luffy's grandpa and everything, like that, because you were saying, oh, they did that, we don't learn that shit until like a couple 100 episodes into the anime, and that makes me wonder if they're going to continue that in season 2, if however they can and wherever they can, if they're going to end up alluding to more shit, because it's actually funny in hindsight with me watching that 2-hour video comp of all the different changes to the that the 4Kids version did. The guy who was the guy who made the video, I don't know, was giving off, because some things, like I guess, I don't know, like the Will of D and all that other stuff that they only have touched on in the anime a little bit here and there, with where again we are right now with Punk Hazard. A lot of that stuff is going to kind of start to slowly, and we're in post time skip, is going to now slowly start to creep back in, because it's going to be relevant soon. So again, it's the long way, it's the long con, the long haul. Like we're gonna, the payoff's gonna happen way fucking later, but it was introduced so much earlier. Kind of a similar principle. So what we have is what we have in season 1, which is East Blue, but having all those little things, the little elements established now instead of way when they're supposed to be. I wonder how much more they're going to do of that, if they're going to name drop the Will of D, if we're going to see more stuff like that in season 2.
Yeah, just things to make it a little more streamlined, and stuffing 1,000-something episodes into how many ever seasons they're gonna make. Like it's not an easy task.
Not at all. But it seems like they're on the right track.
Do it. Yeah.
I can't wait for I Want to Live. Oh boy.
Yeah. I have faith in them. They can do it.
That's another huge, if not one of the hugest moments of the show, of the anime.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to differentiate. When I mean the anime, I have to say the anime. But
I can't wait for
I can't wait for Spondum.
No, I was not gonna. No.
We were gonna have to mention it eventually. Let's talk about Aaron's distaste for Spondum.
I was gonna say, I can't wait for Rob Lucci to be the main villain of Ennie's Lobby, and with no other villain to speak of.
Oh my god, I can't wait to see the gears.
Oh my god, you're right.
We talked about that before off camera, but I was saying, like, how are they going to fucking do Gear 3? Third Gear? How are they going to do that?
I don't
Are they going to do the little kid thing? Even in where we are in the anime at the moment, they've been slowly, like, not showing little tiny Luffy after Third Gear. I wonder if it's going to just get phased out, or if they're going to bring it back in the anime. But I wonder if they're going to do it at all for OPLA.
Yeah.
Provided they get that far.
Like the small thing. They could do that. Luffy. They could do small Luffy.
They did cut up Buggy, so they could
they did small Buggy.
Small Buggy.
So they could totally do that. Gear 4 is gonna be.
At the time of this,
what's gonna be crazy.
I don't know about that yet. Still.
I know you don't know, but I. Oh boy. We're about to see that.
When do we see that? That's not Punk
Dressrosa.
Dressrosa? Oh, jeez. Oh, man. I'm trying to think of other stuff.
I think it's Dressrosa. I only remember it in Whole Cake Island, but I think it was introduced in Dressrosa.
Let's see. What characters are you excited for them to show?
God, I can't even say.
Funk Freed. They better add Tyrannosaurus.
Bottom's not gonna exist.
He will. He has to.
No.
He has to for Funk Freed.
Just for Funk Freed.
And I want to see Tyrannosaurus. Iceberg has to be there because of Tyrannosaurus, aka Baby Ratoncito.
Baby Ratoncito.
I love my little baby man. I love him so much. He needs to come back. He gets a little fucking suit later. I was like, what? My boy has Riz. Let's go.
Has risen the drip.
He's got the drip. I love Tyrannosaurus so much.
Yeah.
To the point that I keep forgetting his name, so I have to call him Baby Ratoncito.
I can't even say like who I'm most excited to see, honestly, because
Moria, probably.
right now it's just all my favorite characters. Yeah, it's Moria, it's
Caesar,
Brooke, Caesar, not Spondum.
I want to see Lucci. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. Well, I want to see all of CP9.
Yeah.
I want to see Kaku.
I knew you were gonna say that.
And Fukuro. I want to see Fukuro.
How are they gonna do him? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I want to see Satori. Oh my god, they better keep in Satori. I swear to God, I don't care. Anybody out there who hates Satori, you're wrong. You're wrong.
You're wrong.
He's so much fun.
Hashtag and Satori did nothing wrong.
Maybe you don't like him because you've been watching the Japanese version. Watch the English version. I think that makes him more likable.
His fucking laugh.
I love his voice in English.
Did I say he's just Scratcher from or Scratch rather from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog?
I don't remember. Maybe you did.
Was that him? Am I thinking of the right guy? Let me look him up real quick as we're talking. Yeah. Because his laugh was like, oh! Yeah, that's just Scratch from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
He's
oh
so
god,
fun.
Enel! I just remembered.
Enel, yeah.
Oh, he's gonna look fucking weird.
Enaru, as they say.
Enaru. Dude, he's gonna look so weird. But I hope he's good.
Yeah. Eminem. God, like
Skypiea might look really cool. They have an opportunity to make Skypiea look like the land look amazing.
Oh yeah. No, they definitely have an opportunity there. They have an opportunity for a lot of things. I'm trying to just like think of other villains that I really want to see what they look like. I want to see Decken.
Oh my god. Jesus. I do want to see how they're going to do Hody
Jones.
Hoda Jones. She's just a fucking insane Arlong.
Yeah. I want to see Hammond as well. Hammond, who they absolutely murdered. He showed up for a bit, and then, like, he left, came back a billion episodes later, and Robin just took him out. I was like, dude.
That was funny. Oh god, even seeing Robin's abilities, like, that's gonna be a trip for people. They're gonna be like, what is happening?
Yeah. There are also characters. There are also characters that I'm scared for. I'm scared for Pell. I am super scared because, like, we're thinking because of the Mary thing. We're thinking that like all the characters who like should be dead but aren't in the anime are actually going to die in the live action. So that makes me super scared for Pell. Like they're gonna kill him off.
In general too. Again, I want to see how they do Frankie. Because again, he's just not normal looking, no matter what fucking design of his you're thinking of, like pre or post time scope. Like he's weird. I want secure the triple butt chin. Do not get rid of it.
Secure it. I want to see Boa Hancock.
Oh my god, Boa, yes. I want to see her simp for Luffy. But this Luffy is simpable.
He's simpable. Yeah.
She's gonna be attracted to his Mexican goodness.
Yeah, I know. She's gonna be attracted to like his inspirational side.
His accent.
Be like, oh, his accent. Oh.
I'm calling it right now. She's gonna get attracted to his accent.
Yeah.
They'll probably, because again, they can get away in OPLA with like writing in some lines for characters that just weren't in the original in the anime. So like, they can have them say and do a couple little things that are just not at all related to anything they've said or done in the source material. So that would be really funny if she was just like, oh my god. I want to see your
sisters. How the hell are they gonna?
That's what I'm saying. Sisters? Like, that's gonna have to be a mix of practical and CGI. Wide face girl.
Sandersonia.
Yeah. That entire Amazon Lily, how are they gonna do that?
All women. All women.
Oh my god, are they gonna see his penis?
Yeah, they're gonna pull it.
No. They already have. Listen. There's plenty there. They have the opportunity to do there because we've already been introduced to naked Helmeppo.
Yeah, we have Helmeppo cheeks, so we're good.
Oh no. They don't have to censor the fucking everyone's fine where we just finished the big battle sauna shower bath scene from Alabasta.
Yeah.
Everyone's naked in that one. We see full frontal naked, just no. It's Ken doll, no pee-pee, Usopp and Luffy. So they could totally just show them with their asses hanging out.
Oh, good god. This is the weird part of the podcast.
Welcome to the nudity scene. All of Nami's scenes they can keep. One you probably wouldn't want them to keep.
Welcome to the nude portion of the podcast.
The nude portion. One Nami shower scene of which I know you don't want them to touch.
I do not want Absalom in Thriller Bark at all. I want them to cut him out. Cut him out entirely. I don't want him there.
But keep Lolo.
He's like absolutely the worst part of Thriller Bark. But yeah, keep Lola. That's good.
She'll be all CGI.
Yeah. Obviously, Perona.
And, they have to keep Perona.
Hogback. Yeah, they have to keep Perona and Hogback.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they'll definitely keep. Well, Hogback's like one of the reasons why Chopper is like excited to be there.
Right.
Yeah.
They better keep Hildon. Oh my god, they better keep Hildon.
Yeah, it was fucking Hildon.
Throw out Absalom, but keep Hildon.
Exchange. Yeah. Is there anything else you... there's a lot we're excited for. There's a lot they can do. There are plenty of really good setups. What they've already written, what they've done for Season 1, there is so much they can do for not just Season 2, but future seasons, depending on, again, how far they're allowed to go. I fucking hope, with how much traction they've already gained in terms of how much they've covered, again, in Season 1, that means Season 2, even though it's going to be primarily Alabasta and all that, like, right before, I'm sure I can see this show, OPLA going for close to 10 years. I'm going to give it that, because with how much, for starters anyway, because that might still not cover everything from the anime, but like that's gonna cover a fuckload of stuff, depending on how much they get to adapt per season. Because they're not going like, this is the one saga, this is the one. That's not, at least I don't think what they're doing. Because that would be a lot of seasons for each saga. But if they kind of like with Alabasta, just for example, if they do all of the majority of it into up till the very end, and they set up the next saga immediately after, which I think is Skypiea, right?
Yes.
But this had been between before then, but like if they kind of can squeeze some of that in, whatever isn't filler, whatever the case may be, and then start it, then like they could get a leg up by the time season 3 comes, and then they can like, you know what I mean? So they can maybe even get more episodes, because we don't even know if it's going to be a solid 8 episodes again. It could be a couple more, because each episode is like an hour almost long. So that's why they've got so much to cover per episode, and they can shove a couple episodes worth of things in there. And season 1 was pretty easy for what it was worth to do, because East Blue Saga's arcs are not very long. So that allowed them to take the most of those handful of episodes per arc, per episode, per OPLA episode, and then just adapt the biggest bits. So, but with that said, it's going to be a lot harder to do with season 2, because if I look up season 2 really quick, or rather,
it's
if I
going
look
to
up
be
Alabasta,
harder. It's going to be harder to do with like the Alabasta saga, because there's a lot of different arcs that go in it. With Sky Island, I think it would be easier, because all they have to do is like maybe put Jaya into like the first 2 episodes, and the rest is Skypiea.
That's true. Does Jaya... Let me look at Jaya real quick. Because, yeah, with Alabasta, you have only 5 arcs, but they're longer than the arcs that we got from East Blue. Because all of those were only a couple... All those were pretty much near single-digit episodes. All those arcs, if I remember right. With Jaya, it's only 9 episodes. Yeah, that could, easily be 1 or 2. And they can, again, probably put that, like, at the fucking end of season 2 if they wanted to. Maybe.
I don't know if they'll have enough time.
That
they could maybe allude to it. Like, they can maybe allude to it.
Set up for it for sure.
Yeah. Like, definitely set up for it. Maybe show like Blackbeard at the end or something, because he's pretty like prominent in Jaya, because that's where we first meet him.
Yeah. Because what I was gonna get at it was, again, provided the show goes on for longer, the budget gets bigger, and even if they're able to produce more episodes, we could probably have like a whole arc, maybe not though, or a whole saga rather, done in so many episodes in that season, and then they can start the next arc pretty much and go into the next one. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's gonna be crazy too, because again, some sagas and some arcs are just fucking huge. Like, how in the shit are they gonna condense either like Dressrosa or fucking Wano? How are they gonna condense that?
Well, they're not gonna condense it into 1 season. I'm gonna tell you that much. Like, those much longer sagas and arcs are like, those are gonna have to be like multiple seasons.
Yeah, like at least 2. Wano itself is gonna probably take up like 2 seasons.
Yeah, just Wano alone.
Wano's the beast. I can't wait till we get to that. That shit's 191 episodes.
That is the length of a whole anime.
That's like a fifth of the fucking show. A fifth of the show is Wano.
It's true. And we're gonna get a taste of that when we get to Dressrosa, which is coming up like sooner than you think.
Yeah, with where we are right now, Punk Hazard's 46 episodes. We're just a little way in. We're at like 580 something, aren't we? At the time of this recording. Yeah. So we're not even like halfway yet, because we just got into it, but we're getting a way into Punk Hazard. But Dressrosa is 118 episodes. Jesus Christ. For comparison, the last couple times I went over to go see you in person, we've just been binging One Piece, and the first time we did that was with Skypiea, so we got through that in like a whole weekend. And
yes.
it was surprising to me that we got through all of what we had left of Marineford like the last time I went to go see you. To the point where
we got through like all
that,
of Marineford and then went
and post-war into
Fishman
Fishman.
Island.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show. I don't want anyone to like hear this and go like, "Oh my god, the show's really that fucking long." I mean, yes, but you can't think about it in terms of seasons or even like these. It's better to think about it in the arcs than it is the sagas, because the more you're just watching episode after episode, the way the show segments itself, it's not like this is the season finale, this is the season premiere. No, the show really just kind of goes, and it doesn't really ever kind of stop.
Yeah. A lot of it blends together. The only like real stopping point you're gonna get is like between like pre and post time skip.
Yeah.
That's like kind of, it goes like, it stops. The adventure continues. But, yeah, that's kind of the only stopping point that you're going to get. If you don't think about it in terms of how many episodes it really is, and you just like sit down and then you just like watch them without thinking, okay, how many episodes do I have left of this arc? And you just watch them, it's like, it starts to blend together.
Yeah, and for lack of a better word, I like to watch this show and think about it in clumps. Because if you think in clumps of episodes, you think like... Because this is the way... We're going to break down the show for you right now. It's not going to take very long. All One Piece is once you get through what the beginning is, which you can either watch through OPLA, watch at the beginning of the show, like on Netflix or wherever else you can find it. That's that. Luffy meeting everyone, getting the crew together, and I love the part too where they go from Luffy is in a small. I mean, we see in OPLA more so than the anime because I think he's already in the barrel at the start of the anime. But
yes.
in the show, in OPLA, he goes from a tiny little baby boat that springs a leak and he goes into the barrel to getting a little ship with Kobe, and then getting a slightly bigger ship to hold him and Nami and Zoro, and then they go to So they keep upgrading, and that's the coolest part of the very beginning of the show, of One Piece, like, in general, is that they upgrade from, like, a small, tiny-ass little rinky-dink boat to, like, a little boat, or to, like, a littler but bigger boat, and then, like, until they get the Mary, and then they have a proper ship, and then the Sunny later, and it's so cool to see them grow like that. But the beginning is that little growth process. You get the first, I think, 5 Straw Hats, and then we go from there. Then it's the next big spot. It's a little bit longer. We've got Alabasta, and you've got, more characters showing up and joining. Then they leave. Then they find the next big spot. Some shenanigans happen. Maybe someone comes in, maybe not yet. And then they leave. And then Robin's teased for a while, and it's on again, off again. But until we get to Water 7, there's the whole thing with her and Eni's lobby. But the only reason why I remember this is because I think about it in, like, chunks, in clumps, like I was saying. So it's not, I don't think by season or by whatever else, I think by where they've been. Because where they've been is, like, a big part of the show. Like, it's one section, literally, of the show. And then they're here. And it's so I go by, like, location rather than season, saga, arc, for the most part. That's, I think, one of the better ways to... If it's too overwhelming for you, that's a good way to think about the show, if you ever want to watch it, is by thinking about where they're going, rather than, oh my god, this fucking arc is like 100 episodes, or like 57 episodes. Like, just don't even think about it like that. Right,
don't think about that at all. And if you're really looking to get into One Piece, start with OPLA.
Yeah, I would say as much.
Because it's been a really good way for a lot of people to get into it.
In some ways, OPLA is like a live-action One Piece Kai. I think you might have said that, I think.
Yeah, it kind of is. There is a fan-made kind of One Piece Kai thing called One Pace. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No.
But I heard of it not too long ago, but it's by a pretty sizable group of fans, and they aim to like redo the pacing of the anime and cut out the filler. And I think I've heard complaints about it, but for the most part, I think they do an okay job. Like, most people, I think, just watched it to get through Dressrosa. And probably Wano, but yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, I think that is... Do you have any last minute things to say about OPLA?
I think I've said everything already. Like, you know, if you're on the fence about starting One Piece and it just seems, you know, it just seems so intimidating, then I would definitely, I would definitely give OPLA a shot. You know, it really is amazing, and it, like everyone says, it broke the curse. Like,
yeah,
and you may be hearing that from like so many people. It's like, but it was still live action anime. It's like, no, it's really, you can't even think about it as live action anime. You like, it's almost like its own thing, but it also does such a good job at really getting people like familiarized with the world of One Piece.
Yeah.
And it's doing its job so well. So please check it out.
Listen, I'm straight. I want Sanji to cook for me. Taz Scarlet can get it, yo.
Can get it, yo.
He actually learned to cook for the show, and he learned how to kickbox.
Yeah.
A lot of them had to go through
cool.
all their training arcs to prep for their roles.
Yeah. Live action Sanji's very good.
And that's the thing, too, because people are going to probably, I think, fans of the show first, who grew up with it a long time ago, like from the beginning, if you will, are probably like, oh, the Sanji doesn't simp as fucking hard as he does in the show. To the point where, I mean, I thought it was really funny. Even in the anime itself, it's taken, stuff like that is taken to ridiculous heights, where there is a literal plot point in Fishman Island where Sanji is close to death because he's simping too hard. His nose is bleeding too much, and he's literally losing blood.
I wish you would have left that without context. He is close to death because he's simping too hard. I wish you had just left it at that and let everyone, like, try to figure out what you meant.
Damn. Yeah, when even the anime takes shit like that, like, fucking egregiously overboard, and I don't mean that in a bad way, I just think it's weird, I think it's funny, because, of course, you know, only anime would do something like that. And how again, grounded, how, I wouldn't even say watered down, but just how much more, not subtle, again, that's the only word for it, grounded it is now. Like, he does flirt with Nami, but it's nowhere near, like, hearts in the eyes and going totally overboard with it. At least not right now.
With the legs going.
Yeah, could become a little tornado. The one thing I think that would be cool is to acknowledge some bits of that is if at some point in season 2, because he didn't do it in season 1, if he calls her Nami Swan.
Yeah.
Little things like that, but still acknowledge his simp mode. The only other, this is more personal for me because Zoro's one of my favorite characters as well. Zoro and Sanji are my favorite Straw Hats, but Zoro, McKinney's great, and when he's out of, because you know what I'm gonna say, I've talked to Miharu about this already, but behind the scenes and stuff, he's always, you know, super, he is still kind of off to the side, but he's super, like, you know, expressive and everything. I think he was a little too, not stiff, but like,
I don't. I think,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, I think he smiled genuinely more than Zoro does in the anime.
There are times, especially near the end of season 1, where he's just so impressed with Luffy, or just like, oh my god, our captain's so silly and fucking ugh, that like he has to just laugh at him and stuff, and that's genuine. That is genuine. Most of the time his delivery is super on that lower register, on the super, because he's supposed to be the cool guy, and that makes sense. Everything about it makes sense. I understand why that's the direction that McKinney went for him. I just think because Zoro is much more loud when he's getting into it with Sanji, they are fucking in each other's face, and I get it. Again, the whole grounded thing, they're not gonna, they did have the bickering back and forth. He calls him Mosshead, which is awesome. So stuff like that, you know, is kept. But McKinney's Zoro just everyday Zoro, this is how I am, is way more on that lower register, is way more on the... What word am I looking for, exactly? It's not... It's not that he's expressionless entirely. I don't know. He's just on that much lower register of, like... He's not monotonous. I don't know if that's the right word either, because that was a word that went through my mind at first. But I do need him to show a little, for me personally, just a little more emotion in Season 2. Not all the time, but for certain things. If he has to yell at somebody that he's going after, or something or other, like, I think he needs to show it a little bit more. But again, that's more of a nitpick. It's not even like a critique, I don't think. I got a little smidge, to me, of that from Nami as well. Just a little. But I get that Nami's supposed to be the one that kind of, like, keeps everyone together right now.
Yeah.
So, of course, like, she's with them, but also, like, oh my god, I can't stand these fools. So I get it.
I mean, we just, like, got through Nami's whole backstory. She's, like, only just now really, like, finding where she belongs. Yes. So maybe we'll see more of that in Season 2.
True. I mean, because, again, even in the anime, making parallels, I was seeing that a lot more with Robin. After getting through Annie's lobby and everything, now, like, she's smiling so much more. She, joins it. She has weird lines of dialogue sometimes, and
Robin is super weird. After Annie's lobby, she smiles in the face of death way too much.
It's funny. No, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes she'll just have offhanded comments about death, and it's like the funniest shit. One thing that I forgot about, and I remember seeing this after I started to really know who Robin was, and I think looking up, like, some of the designs or some of whatever, I think there's a subset of collages where I think, because I know Kami does this sometimes, Usopp does it a lot, she has a very specific off-model face, if I remember right.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that yet. It doesn't happen until way fucking later, and we're getting into those...
she has a specific face that she makes in Wano.
Okay. Because that was something I remember finding out about her from a long time ago. When again, I only just knew of the characters, and I don't think I was even watching the show yet. But I knew some of them were kind of. I just kind of knew their names a little bit. I remember that was a face I'd see a lot. There's a lot of opportunity for the future, and I'm really excited for Season 2.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about it.
And we have just hit the 2-hour mark, which is, yay!
Yay! Let's go.
2 hours for 2 seasons. So I think that is pretty much it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to get out of the way. We talked about... Because one of the things I did want to say, too, was in introducing some characters and having them portray a certain way until some kind of reveal later. I know there was a subset of, like, reactors that who were fans that didn't necessarily care for Garb's interpretation at the start, because they made him out to feel kind of villainous, when that was just, even when he was introduced properly in the anime, just not his vibe at all. Until the end of Season 1, where they're like, oh shit, I guess he was just cool with them all along. And it's like, well, yeah, that's actually just how he is in the anime. They gave him this very foreboding, almost villainous type feel, because all you know is he's a Marine, Luffy's a pirate, they have their history together, and he's looking for him, and he wants to catch him. But what's the thing behind that, and what's the family dynamic now, in present day with them? Because Garb's looking a little villainous, and some people didn't really vibe with that at first, which I thought was interesting. And he was the only one who elicited that type of reaction.
They almost gave him, like, his own, like, little mini arc in itself.
That makes me think if they're going to do that with Robin, because Robin in the anime kind of gave everyone, all the characters in the universe, in the anime she gave them a bit of like a who the hell are you type vibe, and she was with Baroque Works. So I'm wondering if she's going to be seen as kind of villainous at first, until they're cool with her later.
Yeah.
And then knowing Robin's past and why she even does that. Put some context and some layers to it.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do with it. It's weird that, like, I mean, this goes into what I was saying about, like, OPLA has kind of, like, rewired my brain in the way I see, like, certain One Piece, like, characters or arcs and whatnot, but, like, like, Garp with a Scottish accent just works.
A lot of people thought that too.
I'm just like, oh.
They're like, oh, he's Scottish.
So whenever he talks, whenever he talks in the anime, I'm just like, why is he not Scottish?
Yeah. Oh, that is going to be so... If Robin has a Mexican accent, a Spanish accent, rather, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because under the right dialect, a Mexican accent can be very attractive. So, oh boy. Yeah, we'll see what happens. That was a really funny thing too, that people who... I think it was like those exact same people who were like, why is Garp like this? That's not how he is in the show, in the anime. We're like, oh, and he's Scottish now apparently? Like, the fuck?
Yeah.
But again, it's that worldly feel, so I want that to really continue on in these, in Season 2 and in the future. Because it's interesting. As an adaptation, I don't care that it's like that. Like I said with the whole Thomas thing, like I'm used to adaptations doing something different with the characters, as it is. So here it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, I hope they keep doing that. Something a touch that I've really loved and that everyone has really loved is the bounty posters.
Yes.
For all the villains. Like,
yes.
That's a really, really cool touch, and I can't wait to see what they do with that.
To see Robin's, oh, can you imagine?
Yeah. it comes forward or something. Well, cause what do we even see it? For Robin, what do we even see it? Oh, that's a.
The only one we've ever had until they redid hers was the one when she was a kid, right? So that's gonna make people go, what the fuck is her story?
Yeah. I'm wondering if we would see that immediately when she appears.
That I think they should. I think they should, because that, again, another opportunity. How I was saying, everything that we've been talking about Robin can come to a head with OPLA and how they portray her. They can make her out to be kind of seemingly villainous, but that's just because she's out doing her own thing. She's always been a drifter. She's always been a loner. We don't know that yet in terms of OPLA, so to introduce that, and then on top of that, to throw in her bounty poster, and it's her as a kid, that's gonna make people go, what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, the thing is, I'm wondering, how they'll do that necessarily, if they show it exactly when she's introduced, because remember, she's known as Miss All Sunday when she's introduced, not Nico Robin.
Oh, you're right. And that just depends if they even keep on to that.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You're so right, though. That's interesting. I keep forgetting that she did have a Baroque Works alias. I keep forgetting that. Because I remember, the only thing I do remember back when we were first introduced to her and we were watching together the beginning stuff is when I was like, yeah, is she a villain? I remember going, what is Robin's deal? I only know of her from passing. I only remember her from whenever I looked up before ever watching the show. It was before I think we even met. Again, just knowing One Piece, knowing little things here and there, and just looking at characters, but I never watched the show back then. So once we got into the show proper and we got to Robin, I'm like, yeah, what is her deal? Now that we're watching it, what's her deal? Is she a villain? Is she a villain turned good? Or what's her thing? As it turns out, but there's, I think, a chance to mess with some stuff there. And depending on how they, even introduce her by name in OPLA, if they're going to stick with her Baroque Works name, and then we find out later. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that would... What if they just... But I don't know. That might not mean much if... The impact might be lost if they do that. Also, what if they just, redact her name or something? But I don't know.
Possibly.
Because that would be a very good wham, kind of, with her, to get people invested in her. To show off her bounty poster. I don't know. We're spitballing. Yeah. Sorry. Okay, that's gonna take this episode way longer if we start spitballing ideas.
I know. Because the thing is, like, I was going to say like, I can imagine how, like, she would interact with the bounty poster, but then I started thinking of, like, the actual logic behind it and if they would do that at all. And I'm like, wait, no.
Ooh, it'd be cool how to interact with the bounty poster. It'd be cool if she just kind of, like, lightly swatted it away. Didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah, but yeah, like, just whatever. Like, for some reason, I was thinking, like, it comes in and she has, like, and then, like, she has, like, arms grow out. And
that would
just
be
kind
cool.
of, like, rip the poster in half.
Yeah, that would be cool, too.
Like, for Croc, he's gonna stick his hook through it.
He will.
Like, he's gonna
get
it out of there, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to see everyone's abilities again, and I can't wait to see Smoker. I can't wait to see Croc, his sand. I can't wait to see fucking Iñaki get impaled.
Yeah, I know.
Can't wait to see him hanging upside down.
Hanging upside down, yeah.
Oh boy. Which do you think will? Because I know how you said you wanted One Piece itself, like the anime, to end with them finding a way to fit the rap in. What would you do if they fit the rap into OPLA? Somehow.
I would love that.
What if OPLA did it first?
I don't care who does it first. Someone's got to do it. I think that I think if the anime ends with the rap, everybody would explode. I think the internet there would be a cultural reset.
Oh my god.
The internet is going to be like, half of them are just gonna be super hype and like half of them are just gonna be angry for no reason.
Let's also not forget there's a very real possibility they can, as a joke, a reference, an Easter egg, reference the 4Kids dub, because there is an image of Taz with a red lollipop.
Yeah.
So, not for part of the show, it's just like a cast behind the scenes, whatever he was doing thing. But he had a lollipop, and it's the exact type of lollipop that he has that they redid his cigarette into in the 4Kids dub. So, there's a chance that they can sneak little things like that. Again, just for... They don't need to, but how I was saying earlier at the beginning of the podcast, like, all the attention to detail they've been putting into just the littlest things that they don't need to, but that they decided to do anyway. Like, go for it. Even if it's something as silly as anything 4Kids related, fucking do it. If it makes sense, or it's in the background and it works, go for it. It'll be fucking funny to see. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I am on board for OPLA. It's so good. That's all I can say. And I have you to thank for it, as always, because you've been introducing me to just so much shit since we've met. And
Yeah. War.
Yeah. I love One Piece. It's nice to see you, and I love OPLA.
I love One Piece. I love OPLA. We're on board. We're on the crew.
Yeah. What would our crew be?
I don't know.
Foxy Pirates.
Yeah, there's already Foxy Pirates.
Already exists. They better do that art, by the way.
They better do that, because that's
really
so
funny.
much fun.
Yeah. The Purple Fox crew.
The Purple Fox.
Purple Fox Pirates. You have a little bit of alliteration.
The Vix Violet Pirates.
Oh my god, yes! Yes.
I finally get to use that name for something.
I'm your first mate on the Vix Violet Pirates.
Sure. Okay.
That's One Piece.
That's One Piece. That's where we're gonna end it, I guess.
End it with Caesar's laugh. You gotta put effort into this one. This is on the podcast. It's public.
No.
Do it. Do the laugh. Do the roar.
No.
Do a tiny one.
Shoot.
Yeah! We did it. Funk Freed. Baby Ratoncito.
Funk Freed.
All the animals. Bring all them in.
Bring all of them.
What was the big Fraguli's name?
Yokozuna.
Yeah, bring him in.